Let me show you something. So this is WTI crude oil, the futures price, and it is trading at pre-Iran war levels right now. The MOU was signed. It's basically a peace deal. So there's peace now in the Strait of Hormuz, right? So everything should go back to normal, but it's not. You see 130 to 160 ships past the strait on a normal day pre-war. And then after the war, it's averaging around 30 ships. And not most, but all of these ships are Iranian ships going to Asia, mainly China. None of these cargo tankers are going to Europe or the US. And here you can see a divergence between gasoline prices and the futures price of oil. And even Trump is wondering, why are gasoline prices, the price at the pump, why is it going up when oil prices are going down to pre-war levels, right? Well, oil is not just oil, okay? So this entire barrel of oil is crude oil, and everything up this line here, so jet fuel, diesel, and gasoline, has to be refined from that imported crude oil. So what is happening now? We flooded the market in supply, we increased the supply of crude oil, but the refineries are already at their limit in producing or turning that crude oil into their end products. Okay? On top of that, we saw the Chinese stock market crash yesterday, July 3rd, because China at the same time is lowering their production, their refining ability. So turning that crude into their end product. And the same thing is happening in Russia with the attacks on their refineries. So what is going on here? Let me make sense of all this, okay? So the strategic petroleum reserve in the US is at its lowest level since 40 years. And Trump himself admitted why they're signing the MOU, including J.D. Vance. They admitted it. It's to buy time because of the impending oil or energy shock that is going to hit the US. So they need a breather. They need that oil to flow, to refill the SPR, but the oil is not flowing. Production capacity is at an all-time high, causing this. All right, so we flood the market with crude, not the refined product, with crude. And now there's no crude anymore. Okay, so in a few weeks from now, we're gonna run out of the SPR, and then that's it. There's nothing coming from the Strait of Hormuz. We can't refill the SPR. It's over. So we have to refine that, but we're already at full capacity. So what will happen? As we start refining this, or continue to refine this crude that is in oversupply right now, as it runs out in supply, this here will shoot up like a rocket. And what China is doing and what's happening in Russia is also by design. Because now they can start ramping up their production again with this cheap crude around, which will further put price pressure, upward pressure on this price here and squeeze the US. Why are they cutting operations all of a sudden? Right? That's exactly why. Just keep in mind, this is the futures price. It's meaningless. It's paper oil. The barrel is unloaded around $100, $110 at ports and bought by refineries around that price. Not 68, okay? Here where I live in Singapore, I saw barrels of oil being sold for $160 up to $200 a barrel. Okay, that was a few weeks back though. So congratulations, you checkmated yourself with your 5D chess, with a stupid war. The US citizens will suffer now with higher inflation, higher prices, as if that wasn't a problem already all along. And Europe is completely screwed in all of this because they made themselves dependent on the US to supply them with their energy while destroying their own energy infrastructure, going for another silly war started in 2022. But now we're in a situation in the US where there will probably be shortages in a few weeks from now, and then you have to decide to turn the crude into jet fuel to continue fueling your military industrial complex, or into diesel and consumer gasoline so Costco can get food transported with trucks. They all use diesel. And how much of that refined product is going to be left for Europe? None. Anyway, that's the situation. So let's see what will happen after this week. Today's July 4th. Happy 250th anniversary, USA. You got it.